Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Speaker, congratulations. Mr. President, members of the state legislature, friends, and fellow New Jerseyans. Now, the last week has certainly tested this administration. Mistakes were clearly made, and as a result, we let down the people we're entrusted to serve. I know our citizens deserve better, much better. Now, I'm the governor, and I'm ultimately responsible for all that happens on my watch, both good and bad. Now, without a doubt, we will cooperate with all appropriate inquiries to ensure that this breach of trust does not happen again. But I also want to assure the people of New Jersey today that what has occurred does not define us or our state. This administration and this legislature will not allow the work that needs to be done to improve the people's lives in New Jersey to be delayed for any reason. I am the leader of this state and its people, and I stand here today proud to be both. But also, those of you who know me know I am always determined to do better. So, now, I come before you once again for my fourth time to report to you on the state of our state. And the good news is that today, the state of our state is good, and it is getting better. To remember that 4 years ago right now, we were in the throes of an economic crisis. Today, our unemployment rate is 7.8%. That is the lowest in 5 years. 4 years ago, we were losing jobs. Today, we have gained 70,000 jobs in 2013 alone, and a total of 156,000 in the last 4 years. Four years ago, wealth and jobs were leaving the state. Today, personal income for New Jerseyans is at an all-time high, and we're attracting new companies, and that has brought jobs. We now have 4 straight years of private sector job growth. In fact, in November, the drop in our unemployment rate was the largest one-month drop ever measured. And in the last year, New Jersey had the second largest drop in its unemployment rate in America, only behind the state of North Carolina. Now, we could have chosen to go down a path of continued tax increases and fund the state's addiction to spending, but we didn't. We held the line against any new taxes and brought spending in the current fiscal year to a level below fiscal year 2008, 6 years ago. Now, we could have let state government grow even while the private sector shrank, but we didn't. Today, there are 6,000 fewer state employees than when I took office 4 years ago. But there are more than 155,000 new private sector employees. We've improved our business climate, and today, by every measure, business confidence in New Jersey is up. In fact, one national magazine ranked New Jersey among the top 5 states with the most improved business climates in America. It's no accident how we got to this place today. No accident at all. We chose the way. And in this new year and in the next 4 years, we need to build on this momentum by creating a new attitude. We need to create an attitude of choice. An attitude of choice is not about choosing everything. It's not about saying yes to everyone. It is about us setting our priorities and choosing to invest in New Jersey where it matters, and to put in place the reforms and the reductions that will make that possible. And the best part of our turnaround in these past 4 years is because we have chosen to work together. Let's take a moment. These are our achievements. 4 balanced budgets, passed with bipartisan support. Pension reform, passed with bipartisan support. Teacher tenure reform, passed with bipartisan support. A cap on property taxes, passed with bipartisan support. We acted, and we acted together. Even though the competition among states is fierce, the record on this is clear. No state in this country has shown more bipartisan cooperation and governance over the last 4 years than New Jersey, and our people are proud of it. Let's resolve today that we will continue to put those people who are proud of us now, that we'll put them first, that we'll choose to do our jobs. Now, one of the things that we know historically has driven people out of New Jersey was high property taxes. In 2010, together, we capped them, and the 2% cap has worked. In these past 2 years, property tax growth has been the lowest in 2 decades. But the job is far from finished. Property taxes are still too high, and so today I ask for you to join me in enacting a new property tax relief initiative that tackles the root causes that are driving up property taxes in the first place. But first, let's get some context. The 2% cap we've already enacted has worked for a reason. The reason it's worked is because we've done it by controlling costs. We accompanied it with reform of an interest arbitration award system that we all knew needed fixing. As you know, the interest arbitration cap was not permanent. It is set to expire this April unless we act. So I ask you today, on both sides of the aisle, let us renew the cap on interest arbitration awards that is working, and let's make that cap permanent before the deadline in April. Another reason property taxes are so high is that our cities and our towns are stuck with a series of costly state rules that increase the cost of local government. As the cost of government grows, taxpayers, property taxpayers, are paying the price. Now, we've worked with the Senate to try to pass real consolidation and civil service, shared services reform. We haven't yet got it done in the Assembly. We need to have an effort that includes everyone responsible for property taxes: the Senate, the Assembly, our administration, and local governments, to provide them with the authority to run their governments like a business, to consolidate, to share services, to cut duplication, and ultimately to reduce property taxes. Don't think it's possible? Let's look at what happened last year in Princeton. Now, Princeton Borough and Princeton Township talked about this for a long time, but finally, they consolidated into a single government. No two tax departments, no two police forces, no two offices answering the phone. The savings in 1 year, $3 million. That's on a budget of $64 million. That's a 4.7% savings on their budget. And the citizens of Princeton got this in return: more services, despite a smaller budget, and imagine this, a reduction in their municipal taxes. Now, that's not just an opinion. The Local Unit Alignment, Reorganization, and Consolidation Commission, and if you think that's easy to say, let me try one more time. No, I'm not going to do it. They said that the civil service seniority rules were at the top of the list of barriers to shared services. So let's help our towns clear away some arcane rules that stand between them and lower property taxes. Now, when it comes to driving costs, let's not forget, I can't imagine you could, the expensive practice of six-figure sick leave payouts for government employees. Sick time should be used when you are sick. And if you are lucky enough to be healthy, that should be your reward. Sick leave has been abused too many times, and the cost is real. Almost $1 billion in liability facing New Jersey towns, $880 million to be exact as we stand here today. And it will only get higher if the system is not fixed. These reforms are common sense. So let's lift this billion-dollar albatross off the necks of New Jersey's towns. Let's together, in a bipartisan way, enact the zero means zero plan and stop these payouts in their tracks and the harm it does to our taxpayers. Now, our pension system is burdened by some who collect disability retirement because they claim they are totally and permanently disabled. But then they turn around and go back and work full time. This is wrong. And it hurts our system and the people who really deserve the payouts. So first, we've established by executive order a special unit to prosecute pension fraud. But we need to go further, so let's go further. We need to solidify our pension system and reduce costs by reforming our disability retirement system to end this fraud and abuse. Let me be clear, we're not talking about taking away benefits that people deserve. But if folks are going to abuse the system, it hurts every person who needs the system when they're really, really injured permanently. Not only will this help that pension system, but it will also help to reduce costs and reduce property taxes. Now, here's one of the open secrets in local government since the enactment of the 2% property tax cap. Some towns get around the cap by enacting user fees to fund traditional services that they used to put in their budget. So let's end this practice. All of you in this room who voted for the cap did not want the cap to be gone around. So let's not make people's property taxes even more expensive by not enforcing the cap and ending these user fees. Now, I'll have more to say about New Jersey's taxes when I present my budget to you next month, and that's for a reason. I've always believed that we have to consider changes to our tax system in the context of our overall budget picture. So we'll be back to you in February and present some choices regarding taxes. But let me tell you one choice we will not make, because it is one answer that will not help grow jobs in our state, and that's raising taxes. You see, if the evidence is clear that increasing taxes hurts job growth, it's equally clear that we need to stand up and not allow the tax burden on the citizens of New Jersey to get larger. We need to make it smaller. Now, if it's clear that property tax and other tax increases hurt our growth, it is equally clear that improving our educational system is a key to helping our growth. Now, together again, we've made some great progress in these past 4 years. A record amount of school aid, long overdue reform of our system of teacher tenure, an increase in the number of charter schools, and an Urban Hope Act that is bringing Renaissance schools to some of our most challenged cities. And some of the results we're seeing already are really promising. Last year, New Jersey's high school graduation rate increased by a full percentage point to 87.5%. Student achievement is strong in many of our public schools, and New Jersey students are among the country's greatest achievers. Now, just a few years ago, a graduate of my own high school, Livingston High School, won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. We're making a large investment in public education in New Jersey, everybody. New Jersey spends over $25 billion a year, all told. Our per-pupil expenditure is the highest in the nation at over $17,000 per year. Now, in some cases, I believe too many, our children are not receiving the education they deserve. Now, while many public schools are strong, too many are still failing. While the vast majority of teachers are performing well, some are underperforming, and they should be removed from our children's classrooms. See, the need to be better is particularly acute in New Jersey cities. Our urban schools demand our attention, and believe me, they have mine. Where bold action was necessary, we have taken bold action, and we made a commitment to the kids in our cities that they have a right to the same quality education as kids in our suburbs. In our largest school system in Newark, we have brought in a new organization and new resources, not only in the form of state aid, but in collaboration with parents, and teachers, and community leaders on the ground in Newark. One result, we negotiated a historic contract with the teachers union and delivered real merit pay alongside increased teacher involvement in that process. Most importantly, we want to encourage innovation while listening to the specific needs of our urban communities. It's the reason why we've empowered our superintendents in Newark and in Camden to make choices that work best for their kids, their parents, and their schools. In Newark, that superintendent is Cammie Anderson. Cammie has moved to pay the best teachers more, to stop actions that are failing kids, to empower 50 new principals, to create cooperation between the public schools and the public charter schools, and to reorganize the school system structure to put the focus on kids, their schools, and their parents first. And what are we seeing? Well, some good early developments. Early childhood enrollment has increased by more than 1,000 students. And in her tenure, the graduation rates have increased by 10%. Newark is leading the conversation and making sure every kid, those who are behind, those who are ahead, and those who have special education needs, are lifted up. Under Cami Anderson, every kid means every kid. Now, her efforts haven't always been met without skepticism, but she is a true partner with Newark and cares about that city and its public schools. Cami is here with us today. And Cami, I'd like you to stand up so we can thank you for your commitment to the kids in our largest city. How bad has it been in Camden? Well, how about this? Last year, only 3 students graduated college ready. I want you to listen to that again. In the entire public school system in Camden last year, only 3 students graduated college ready. That is obscene and unacceptable, and a breaching of the faith between those families and every level of government responsible for their education. So what are we doing? Payman Ranafard is bringing that same energy that Cami Anderson is bringing to Newark, to the Camden Public Schools. And what's he done in just his short tenure already? He's turned around a perennially low-performing charter school, which is now showing some of the largest academic gains in the state. He has launched a new Safe Corridors program with Mayor Dana Red, which has created safe walking routes to and from school for Camden's children. And of the 345 students who dropped out last year, Payman has led the effort to go door to door and has re-enrolled 50 of those dropouts back in school. Payman, I'm proud of what you've done already. I'm excited about what the future of Camden schools will bring under your leadership and the leadership of local officials there. And I'd like you to stand up to let us thank you for your efforts and your dedication. Now, both Cami and Payman have my confidence and support and this administration's confidence and support to continue aggressive reforms needed that work best for the communities of Newark and Camden and to put kids first. Cami and Payman are emblems of my commitment to ensuring the opportunity for an excellent education to every child in New Jersey, regardless of their zip code. Now, despite the improvements we're seeing in Newark and Camden, I believe we need to take bigger and broader steps to adjust our K-12 education approach to address the new competitive world we live in. Let's face it, if my children are living under the same school calendar that I lived under, by definition, that school calendar is antiquated. It's antiquated both educationally and culturally for the world we live in. Life in 2014 is much different than life 100 years ago, and it demands something more for our students. It is time to lengthen both the school day and the school year in New Jersey. And this is not just my idea. Assemblyman Wilson put this forward in 2010. And I look forward to working in a bipartisan way to get this done. Because if student achievement is lagging at the exact moment when we need improvement more than ever in order to compete in a world economy, we should take these steps, every possible step, to boost student achievement. And one key step is to lengthen the school day and the school year. These children need more time in school, some of them to catch up, some of them to excel more. So, working with Commissioner Cerf, I will present to you shortly a proposal to increase the length of both the school day and the school year in New Jersey. I believe that this is a key step to improve student outcomes and to boost our competitiveness. We shouldn't wait. We should do it now, because every day we waste, our children will never, ever get back. As parents, as grandparents, as aunts and uncles, we should not stand for it. And under this administration, we won't. Now, many of our new initiatives recognize a core feature of modern American life, that the quality of education and the quality of life in our communities are inextricably intertwined. That's why this year we need to be more aggressive and bolder in fixing our failing schools and delivering a choice to those for whom today the only option is a bad option, a failing school. It's a moral obligation, everybody. We must give every New Jersey child the chance to graduate from high school, to be ready for college if they so choose, and to prepare for a career. If we fail to meet this obligation, we compromise the life of that child, and we hurt the quality of life in our communities all across New Jersey. So failure is not an option for us. If education, though, is one key to the quality of life in New Jersey, our approach to safe streets and stronger communities is another. Every New Jerseyan should be concerned when violent crimes occur right before our eyes. Last month, a young lawyer went to open the door of his vehicle for his wife after an evening of pre-Christmas shopping. He was set upon by thugs who wanted to carjack his SUV, and in front of his wife, he was shot in the head and left for dead on the deck of a mall parking garage. Now, outstanding police work led to 4 arrests, and the suspects are now charged with murder. All 4 had prior criminal records. All 4, fortunately, are now in jail. How can we tolerate such violence in our midst? The answer is obvious: we cannot. So we must take a new approach to fighting crime in New Jersey and prevent tragedies like this from happening. We must do everything we can to swiftly jail those violent criminals who bring additional murder and disruption to innocent victims across our state. Now, we have the tools to do this, some of which we've begun and some of which we've not. And I believe 2014 must be the year we finish the job. So what have we not finished? Almost 2 years ago, I announced a proposed constitutional amendment to modify the right to bail in New Jersey. The concept is simple. New Jersey courts should have the right to keep dangerous criminals off the streets and in jail until trial. Why is this important? A study by the federal government's Justice Department found that 1/3 of the defendants released before trial ended up being charged with some type of pretrial misconduct. 1/6 were arrested for a new offense, and half of those were felonies while they were out on bail. The federal government allows a violent criminal who is adjudged by the court to be a danger to the community to be held without bail. New Jersey law does not. This must change. How can we justify any longer exposing our citizens to the risk of violent crime at the hands of those already in custody, who a court determines are predisposed to commit it again? I believe there's no justification for that. Let us mirror the federal law. Let us work together to pass bail reform in 2014. Now, I have had some successes in the past few years. We've made progress in some areas of reducing crime in New Jersey. Over the past decade, violent crime is down 16%, both across New Jersey and in our 15 largest urban centers. And the state's prison population is down 20% since 1999. But we can do better, and we must. Those 15 urban centers still account for more than half of all the violent crime in New Jersey, despite representing only 18% of the state's population. Now, for too long, Camden has been one of the most dangerous cities in New Jersey and in America. The ability to put police on the street was constrained by tight budgets, low morale, and an absentee rate that sometimes reached 30% in a day. Under an agreement that this administration signed with the City of Camden and the County of Camden, we have regionalized the police force. A police force that was slightly more than 200 is now being beefed up to 400 county police officers patrolling the city of Camden in the Metro Division. Last year, the homicide rate was down, and the crime rate was down by over 20%. But we know the battle in Camden is far from won. But under Mayor Dana Red, Police Chief Scott Thompson, and Jose Cordero, who helped decrease crime in East Orange significantly, Camden is using a new approach, using technology to predict crime and engaging with the community. Camden is moving in the right direction. And I agree with Senator Sweeney that we should have incentives for other communities to adopt the type of shared services agreements and regionalization agreements that are, in this instance, making more cops on the street possible. More cops on the street means safer communities. To make this happen, we will work with you to reintroduce a shared services and consolidation reform measure in this session of the legislature, and I hope we get it done. We must also reach out a hand of compassion and common sense to those who engage in nonviolent crime. We must do a better job of reclaiming their lives and putting them back on the road to success and engagement with our society. See, my belief is simple. Every human life is precious, and no life is disposable. That's why I proposed last year to change our approach to nonviolent drug offenders and to mandate treatment, not imprisonment. Together we made this possible. The drug court program has been a great success, thanks in part to your support in funding both the court and the treatment. And I thank you for passage this past year of the Overdose Protection Act. We should not be prosecuting those good Samaritans and health professionals who are trying to help in a life-threatening overdose situation. And you know, New Jersey's approach to reclaiming lives, it's working right in front of our eyes. Recidivism has dropped by 11%, one of the steepest drops in America. And New Jersey is rightly recognized by national experts as a leader in strategies among states in reducing the incidence of recidivism. Now, one part of this, for me, it's personal. In this room today is a man who was a drug addict at 16 years old. His life was at risk. He was imprisoned, but treatment saved him. He was rehabilitated at Daytop Village in our hometown of Mendham. He then went on to graduate from high school, to get a college degree, and ultimately got a law degree and passed the bar exam. I had the privilege of hiring him as a summer intern at the U.S. Attorney's Office many years ago and working with Craig Hanlon. Craig is with us now in this chamber. If you need proof that reclaiming a life is possible, that every life is precious and has value, and that no matter what condition you find that life in, that life is salvageable if we reach out and give them the tools they need to help themselves, that proof is in this chamber today. A practicing lawyer who at 16 years old was in jail as a drug addict. Craig, welcome, and thank you for making New Jersey a better place. Because of the years I've known Craig, I know personally the passion and strength that comes from the human desire to make your life better. And I believe we can do more to help give people a second chance. That's why today I'm proposing an initiative to expand integrated treatment and employment services for individuals receiving drug treatment services, by providing grant funds in the amount of $500,000 to be managed in partnership with the Nicholson Foundation. We will place individuals in jobs and help improve their retention. We'll work directly with treatment providers so that they integrate employment services with drug treatment services for drug court participants. Research shows that employment during substance abuse treatment helps ensure continued participation in that very treatment and gives them sustainable long-term employment. So now with this partnership, we'll help empower individuals who want and deserve the opportunity to live a life like Craig's, a life redeemed and well-lived. Now, a year ago this afternoon, our state was in recovery from a challenge not of our own making. Superstorm Sandy devastated New Jersey in the fall of 2012, flooding our homes, turning off our power, and destroying our roads. Despite the magnitude and the devastation of the storm, the one thing we've learned in the last year plus is that Sandy could not break our state's spirit. This past summer, most businesses at the shore opened on time. Our boardwalks were rebuilt. Many of the crowds came back, and schools that had been damaged were reopened. Today, about 9 months after the first phase of disaster recovery funds started flowing in New Jersey, nearly $900 million, more than 2/3 of the funds for housing recovery programs, are out the door or in the pipeline. From the very beginning, the priority for this administration was putting those with the greatest needs and with the most limited financial resources at the front of the line. Now, of the nearly half of the housing money that has been obligated so far, 72.9% of that money has been awarded to low and middle income families, and we are proud of that. The bottom line is this: we're a long way from the finish line, but we are also a long way from where we were 1 year ago. Challenges remain, and I will not rest until every person hurt by Sandy has their life back to normal. That is my mission. But I want to thank the legislature and all New Jerseyans for the cooperative, bipartisan, and resilient spirit that you demonstrated in coming back from Sandy. Let that spirit of Sandy be a powerful lesson to all of us, that when times are most difficult, cooperation and progress are possible. Indeed, I tell you, they're necessary. Lastly, let me share with you one more hard truth that makes this new attitude of choice I've spoken about today necessary for New Jersey's future. We've discussed so many exciting opportunities for investment in our state, both today and in the last number of months. K-12 education, higher education, crime prevention, drug rehabilitation and job training coming together, increased access to health care, infrastructure investment, lower taxes, job growth. They're all exciting, and all of which, done responsibly, could make New Jersey an even greater place. But here's a simple truth that everybody in this government knows: we cannot afford to do it.